Hello and welcome. My name is Sarah Brown, and this is a series of garden organic interviews where we let our guests chat at length on subjects which are close to their hearts. Often the topic is too important or too riveting for us to press the edit button, and in gardening terms you could say we're happy to leave their words unpruned. You may have heard this month's guest, Jekka McVicar, in the July podcast. There she talked about her long and glorious life growing herbs. In this interview, Chris and Jekka walk around her herb farm in the West Country. I don't know about you, but I've always felt I should grow and cook with more herbs. Jekka has 70 different varieties of thyme, and she has herbs from all around the world. Listening to this chat, I was not only inspired, but itching to get growing Szechuan peppers and Chilean myrtles. This is for the real herb aficionados amongst you. You'll also find some interesting tips on how to grow herbs as well. But before we start, I'd just like to thank our sponsors, Viridian Nutrition. Viridian are the leading brand of ethical vitamins. They are passionate about sustainably sourced ingredients and have one of the largest ranges of organic vitamins and supplements. For them, it's all about purity, potency and provenance, with every product containing only 100% active ingredients. Find out more at viridiannutrition.com. That's Viridian with a V, nutrition.com. So let's join Chris and Jekka in the greenhouse.
Now this, Cuban oregano,
Yeah.
or sweet basil,
Okay.
depending which island you are
Right.
in the West Indies. And then you go over to Malaysia and it's called banga banga.
Right.
But in Sri Lanka, this is a really
Yeah.
important
Oh,
herb. They use it for children who've got coughs.
Right.
They use it medicinally. And we all have families, Sri Lankan families, travelling across England
To get this
to
plant.
get this plant for
Wow.
us, so they can make it into this
It's
cough
actually a
medicine.
very beautiful plant as well. I recognise it now.
You would recognise it much
Because
more.
you do. I've seen it quite tall as well. I think in Sri Lanka.
It's
Yeah.
Plectranthus umbonicus.
Plectranthus. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah.
This, on the other hand, is my other real find.
It's got a lovely scent
This
to it.
I bought the back, must be 40 years ago.
Right.
My mum used to grow it. This is Zatar from the
that's
mountains. I bought it as I came over from Syria into Lebanon.
Right.
And that's when I first got it.
That's quite thyme-esque, isn't it? And it's, yeah.
It's an
yeah.
oreganum.
Yeah,
Oreganum syricum.
Right. Very beautiful scent to that.
Taste this.
That's quite nice. That. What is that? That's a familiar taste.
Yeah, I know. Go on. Have another bit. I think it's amazing.
Oh, cucumbery.
Yeah, well done. Yeah.
Is it?
It's a cucumber family.
Is it? Right.
Yeah, they are.
Pentaphyllum. Gynostemma pentaphyllum. Remember the cucumber family? Tastes just like cucumber. I'll just describe this.
It's a vine, though.
It's a vine, so it's a climber.
It's a real climber.
Is it? Will
Okay.
it go woody? Will it go perennial and woody?
No, it's herbaceous.
Ah, right.
I mean, it'll grow up to my height
Yeah, right.
in a season. And a leaf a day keeps old age away.
Right, okay.
Okay?
It's like, it looks a bit like a Path in a Scissors, a Virginia Creeper sort of style leaf, isn't it?
See, look at this. You can
Wow,
see
so it's
already
tendrils as
growing.
well. And it's tendril, that is amazing. Because that tastes really nice.
You can make a tea with that. It's called sweet vine as well.
Sweet vine.
And with that tea, that's really good as cleansing. It's better
Right.
than ginkgo. for
Yeah,
everything.
really.
And this is Ferula asafoetida.
Ferilla.
It's the devil's dung.
Is it? Oh, right, okay. And this does what?
It's the root of this that is dried and used as the resin is dried, and it's used as a food flavouring in Eastern cooking.
Wow, okay, right. Is that medicinal as well?
Oh yeah, hugely medicinal. So I have to be really careful about what I can say about medicinal.
Sure.
I'm not allowed to say so much because I'm not a herbalist.
Yes, I understand.
I'm just a herbalist.
Yeah, I understand.
But yes, it is medicinal as well.
I don't think I've seen that before, and that's a new one on me, I think. It's quite a nice looking plant. You could see that in an herbaceous border, couldn't you, really?
This is Vietnamese coriander being hacked back. Just in time to keep it under control for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I was going to show you. Look at that.
Timnanthus, what, that's from seed?
Yeah.
Wow, I don't think
I collected the seed, and look at the germination.
God, that's really healthy, that is, isn't it? From those little pods on the shrub.
Yeah.
Oh, that is really good. I don't think I've ever seen Timnanthus seedlings.
Well, no, I don't think many people have.
No.
This is cardamom.
That's cardamom, okay.
Smell. You just steam fish and chicken in it
Yeah,
and things like that.
Oh, that's delicious.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah, that is very
And then this,
oriental feel to it. Smell to it.
This was my holy grail for a number of years, to be able to grow this without heating.
Oh, that's a lovely smell. Something like burnt
That's the curry leaf.
curry leaf, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks a bit like roost, doesn't it?
It was called Maria, and they just changed the Latin to Bergia.
Oh, that is an amazing smell.
And this is the tree fuchsia with the edible flower, edible fruit.
Okay.
And this is, I went and worked in South Africa for a bit.
Yeah.
And this is one of the Zulu herbs. This is bulbine.
Right.
And this is used to put on burns. It's known as the burn jelly part.
Right. So it's like a natural antiseptic or...
No, it stops the blisters. It's also really good for cold sores and any of the herpes virus. So that's that. This is in oreganum, but this is from, smell, amazing. This is from Cyprus. This is the native oregano of Cyprus.
That's quite a unique scent as well, isn't it?
Isn't it? And look at these babes. Aren't we clever? This is capers.
So again, you wouldn't see that normally, would you? No. Is that, that just...
No, and you can eat the leaves, you cook the leaves.
So the capers themselves, is a fruit, is it?
No, the caper itself is the flower bud.
Okay, before it opens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, once you've seen it flower, you could not ever not let it flower.
Really? Isn't that good?
It's so beautiful.
Really? Because it's the sort of thing you associate with being in a jar in the cupboard, isn't it? And
this is the mushroom plant. Taste that.
Mushroom? That's uncanny. It just tastes exactly like a mushroom.
Yeah, it's from Papua New Guinea.
That's outrageous. So this is a new variety of thyme that you've grown for the first time.
I grew it from seed last year, so I've chosen the strongest ones.
So these are all in cells, these cuttings then?
So these are all seeds. Now, this is something I developed myself, and then I was told this is nothing new. When I propagate under mist, and I've got a heated bench here, and it's heated to halfway.
Okay.
And what I wanted to do was put my seeds and my cuttings on at the same time. I didn't want to, because I've got things going through all the time.
Yeah.
And I worked out, if I covered my seeds in perlite...
I see the perlite there, yeah.
Which is the white volcanic waste stuff, rather than the vermiculite, which holds water, this doesn't. The seeds I could have on at the same time as cuttings.
Right, because you could do them side by side, basically.
Exactly. So that's why you've got it going through. So you've got seeds coming through here.
Did the vermiculite then stagger that, did it? Was it the seed and the cuttings with different timings? Because
no, what was happening was I was finding that when I put it on like this, quite often it will rot if they're on for any length of time. And by having a dry layer on the top, it's like having glass. And it reflects the light, so we get really good germination.
So it reduces damping off, basically.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly
that's interesting.
I'm hugely excited. You've got to realise this is no, I can never say this word. Szechuan pepper.
Szechuan pepper. I've heard of Szechuan pepper.
Okay, xenotholium.
Right. Okay.
So this one is simulans.
Yep.
Bigger leaf. And this one is this is the Japanese form. This is piperatum.
Okay. I mean, that looks shrub-like to me. So you're taking them as hardwoods, or
they're hardwood cuttings.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, I'm really chuffed. They're looking good.
It's got a mighty spike on it.
Wait until I show you around outside. So these are my thyme cuttings. You were saying, I don't find they just take a long time.
Right. So you need to be patient with them.
Yeah, very patient.
And how many types of thyme have you got here?
74.
74.
But I also breed thymes.
Right, so you're cross-pollinating, or?
No, well, it's all by natural selection. Because I've got the herbetum outside, what I do is I'll notice if a seedling is growing differently, and I'll watch it, and then if it has a different flower, I'll watch it again, and then I'll mark it so no one else can notice, because otherwise I get stuff nicked. And then I will just keep an eye on it for the season. Then I will take cuttings of it.
So it's almost like a sport in a way. Is it
exactly that?
Right.
It could be a sport. It could just be a seedling that's come up and just decided to do its own thing. It's crossed with something else of its own ilk.
So it's like a natural breeding, like a sport, and then you you propagate.
So I will propagate the strongest sport.
Wow.
And what's interesting is Professor Mick Crawley from Imperial, has taken a number of my thymes and given it to his PhD students to find out what the DNA
Right, so genetically, that is brilliant.
So I'm actually going to know who was the father of my family.
Brilliant, that is brilliant.
So here I practice a lot of different propagating techniques. So this is again the shashkan.
Right.
I know I can raise it from seed. So these were the seeds that sunk, and then on this side, these are the seeds.
So you put them in water and then
and these are the ones that floated.
Right. So you're trying both.
Yeah, I'm trying both because I don't believe what they say, and I think these are doing really, really well.
They look healthy enough. So the viability tested by throwing stuff in water is not always 100%.
Exactly that. And then under here, because you have to have so many different techniques going at the same time, these don't like mist. So we have under here.
Oh, wow.
So that's Oreganum dictamus, Oreganum Kent Beauty.
That's a beautiful plant, isn't it? Very downy sort of texture to that oregano.
And you know my previous life, I was a rock chick.
Yes, I've done my homework for you, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, so there I am, aged 17 and a half. I had a little row with the group I was in.
Okay.
And I hitched off and I landed up on Crete.
Okay.
And I was busking away in this taverna and I felt really ill. I mean, like mega ill with food poisoning.
Okay.
Well, I was dying as far as I was concerned. I was far too young to be halfway around. No one could
and not
find
feeling
me.
ill, no one around
and
you.
no mobile phone, remember?
Right,
no
so
mobile
pretty
phone.
isolated then.
Pretty isolated.
Yeah.
The taverna owner brought me up a cup of tea and I started to feel better.
Wow.
And I lived on this tea for about 3 days. Then I was up and better. It was Oreganum dictamus.
Wow.
It was the dittany of Crete, which has then become endangered in the wild. So we grow it.
So you're propagating it here and the public can purchase it?
Yeah, and that's Ozymanthus hookerii.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
The kerosene bush. So these are for clients. You can see the names on them.
So these are people pre-ordering, are they?
Yeah. People will buy off us from all around the UK. We don't ship abroad.
Right. So all in local in a way, I suppose. And do you get people? Sorry to interrupt. Do you get people who buy from you because of private collections, private herb collections? Is that?
No. We get people who want for botanic gardens.
Right.
We get people who want it for hotels.
Okay.
Lots of hotels.
Really?
Yeah. We get people who want it who are doing retirement homes.
Right.
People who want it for disabled children and aromatherapy and that kind of thing. And then I get landscapers who are planting much more naturally and wanting to attract pollinators, because as you know and I know, the Lamiaceae family is one of the best families to grow if you want to attract
bees,
any of the pollinators.
Yeah.
I mean, the hoverflies around my mint in flower was just amazing. When you hear there's a shortage of hoverflies, I said, well, come here. And apparently, according to people who come at our open days, we've got 12 different types of bumblebee here.
Wow. And
we've got a very rare solitary bee. Now, if you think, I've been here over 30 years, so our biodiversity is phenomenal.
It's incredible.
And our bird life is superb as well. So, but it all is because we're all in that one chain. We're all part of the same system.
Yeah.
So if you don't muck about, when I first arrived here, can you imagine, 35 years ago, I was living in my mobile home, and I used to go out at night and collect a dustbin of slugs. Now I don't go out.
You don't get any. Do you think that's bird life?
I think it's bird life. I think it is my frogs and my toads, and I think it's the whole cross section.
So you've created a balance in this nursery, a natural balance, and that's keeping the lid on anything getting too much of a pest.
If I do get, say, whitefly in the glasshouse, which is the only place I really get trouble, what'll happen is I'll then introduce predators.
Right. Okay.
Encarsia
or something like that.
Exactly that. Yeah. And just to get the balance back. You see, you don't need to fiddle.
Oh, wow. This is where all your saving goes on.
I'm going to give you a taste. Now, this is Szechuan pepper.
Yep. This is a Japanese one, is it?
No, this is the simulans.
Okay.
This is the seed, okay? You don't eat that bit, so you don't eat the seed.
You don't eat the seed, no.
No, you eat the outer casing.
So is this... Ah, right. So this is the calyx, is it? Is that what...
No, this is just the outer casing.
Just the outer casing, oh, right.
What happens is, see that one, if you...
Wow, yeah.
and it opens up.
Oh, that's amazing.
Wait.
What a taste that is. Could
Wait.
get spicy.
No, it's not hot. It's
got a very strong, very perfume.
I think they're absolutely gorgeous.
So you'd use that in cooking, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I use it a lot.
Oh, it's quite, quite perfumey.
Starts off limey.
Yeah, and now it's gone quite.
How are your lips feeling now? Are they tingling yet?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. They are, yeah. It gets stronger as it goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite powerful now. Oh, well.
So we have our seats are in here.
This is your cold room, is it? Your cold store?
Really cold.
So this is the kind of the nerve centre, really, isn't it, I suppose?
Yeah, and we hand pack all our own seeds.
Because Garden Organic, obviously, the Heritage Seed Library have a similar sort of room.
But we hand pack it all.
So it's all done by hand, yeah. That's quite laborious, I take it.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of work
and
in there.
Hannah made all the packets.
Right.
She printed them all for
A big
me.
family effort then. So you've got 5 raised beds here of thyme alone. So how many varieties are in here then?
I've only got about 60 of my
Is that all?
70
60?
odd.
Is that all?
What we've decided, you were talking about shopping with your eyes.
Yes.
Everyone buys herbs in small pots.
Yeah.
Then they plant them and then they're disappointed.
Yes.
They keel over. So I'm now going into 2 litres across the nursery, and so that means that people can buy a plant and crop it and plant it, and it will not die.
Right. Because a lot of them you buy in the supermarkets and stuff are propped very quickly, hydroponically, banged out into the supermarket, so they're just going to perish straight away.
The ones in the supermarket inside are grown hydroponically. The ones outside are from Italy.
Right.
How they do it, they strike 6 cuttings into a pot.
Yes.
Trim it. So
So
it looks like one pot.
Yeah.
And then it keels over when you get home.
Right, yeah.
And so these are at least 3, if not 4 years old, depending on the variety. They've all been out all winter.
Well, technically, those herbs would be quite easy to grow if you've got to get them right at the start, I suppose, and if you get them...
I think, you see, the thing is that if they're grown soft, which is what the
Italian herbs are grown.
Well,
is it?
they're soft, but I mean the English herbs from supermarkets are grown as a crop. They're not grown as a pot herb.
Yep.
So here you've got the whole story, because you've seen the cuttings in there. The cuttings come into 8 centimetre.
Yep.
The 8 centimetre goes into 1 litre. The 1 litre goes into 2 litres.
Right. So that's your process,
Yeah, and there are new pots, our new horrible beige pot. Hate them. I think they look naff. I mean, what's so sad is these green pots here that are my liner pots.
Right.
I have been using and reusing those for over 20 years. And the reason I know they're 20 years is the rep that I bought my brown pots off said, I know you. He said, I sold you.
These pots 20 years ago.
I said, I'm still using them. He said, you can't be. And I said, I can. Plastic, in the right way, used and reused, is better than anything. That has outlasted all my terracottas. It has outlasted everything I've ever had. And when it chips up or it breaks or fractures, because it's been used so often, we will then recycle it. What we do here is we will take that there's a horticultural and agricultural recycling depot for horticulture and agricultural plastics in Westbury.
Right.
And we fill up our lorry and we drive it over.
So the point is plastic doesn't have to be single use, does it?
No.
If we think about it.
These beige numbers, this is a UK-made pot, made in Birmingham, out of all our UK recycled plastic.
Wow. So that's the end of the story then, the whole loop.
When the customer buys those, they will then be able to put those out with the dustbin.
I mean, everything looks so healthy, doesn't it?
People say that we're very tidy. We are, because if you're organic...
You need hygiene is very important.
Hygiene is more important for an organic nursery than any other nursery.
Yeah.
Because if you get bittercress, which a lot of nurseries have in their pots, bittercress is renowned in its root system for spreading disease.
Right.
You learn the hard way being a nursery, and I assure you, and there will be no bittercress. I assure you.
Bittercress, I always remember it's the exploding seed pod, isn't it?
And you get it in the eye.
Yeah. I remember at Edinburgh Botanics we used to get with tweezers in the rockery, and you touch one, it'd go tish, and you go, oh, that's me back here next week, then.
Exactly.
But you've eradicated it completely because it's a vector. It's a vector for.
It is a vector.
It's a vector.
I mean, I'm always on the prowl.
So I always teach kids when I teach them about gardening. I always think DDD, dead, disease and dying. Cut it out. Get rid of it. Well, I always think it's 90% observation, this game, in many ways, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
And spotting the mistake. So these are my rosemaries, all my different rosemaries.
It's incredible.
Here. And this one on the end, which is in full flower.
How many rosemaries again?
I think about 40.
40 roses. Most people would think there's only one kind of rosemary, you know that, wouldn't they?
Now look at this beauty.
That's just a stunning plant. Very prostrate, upright.
This is called arching, this form.
Right, okay.
We have two forms. We have upright.
Yes.
We have prostrate.
Yes.
And we have ones which like this
Arch,
go
yeah,
arch.
that is a beautiful shrub.
Okay. And this is Jekka's blue.
Jekka's blue. Brilliant. That is a stunning plant, that really is. And that's flowering in the depths of winter too.
And it has done all winter.
Right.
The other thing which we've been experimenting with and had huge success is pruning.
Right.
People don't realise how hard
You can hit a rosemary quite hard, can't you?
as long as you stay within the green. This
Right.
one looks like he almost probably won't make it. Because I'm on display, you know,
Right.
I like to be able to have the story to tell people.
So yeah, because that gives you an example. So you wouldn't hit it down, you wouldn't stall it.
No.
You wouldn't stall it, but you can reduce the crown.
You can reduce the crown like mad, like that.
Yes.
And that'll look fantastic this year.
Right.
Then we've got the oreganums.
Yeah.
Right, and when is it oregano and when is it marjoram?
Yeah, well, that's true. It's all oregano. Marjoram's just a type of oregano, is it? Yeah.
This is really exciting. This is so exciting. This is from Italy.
Oh, that's got a lovely scent to it, that.
That is a soft-leafed, very rare, perennial form of the sweet marjoram. And this is all my mint bed. You see, normally we sink the pots in the ground, but these are all the holes.
So you're sinking them to stop them getting out and...
because as soon as the roots touch, they end up tasting the same.
Really? Ah,
That's
right.
why you must never, ever...
Mix your mints.
Mix your mints, yeah.
Really, no. So if the roots touch, you end up with a monoculture of taste, basically.
Yeah.
Don't mix your mints. That's got to be one of the mottos of the day.
Look at that. We sterilise our mints every year.
Okay. Can you enlarge on that?
Right, so what happens, we unpot all the mint, we wash all the compost off the root, we then put them into a bain-marie hot bath, sous vide. Okay, at 44 degrees for 10 minutes, and that kills the rust.
Right.
So all our stock, when it comes from us...
Is rust-free.
It's rust-free.
And that's an organic method, I take it, isn't it? Completely,
exactly. Yeah.
And that's stopping any rust getting into the collection.
So all my collection is clean.
Wow, that's a new one on me after all these years in horticulture. Bathing mint.
See the ginkgo there?
Yeah.
Alistair and I and Hannah, we grew that from seed when they were tiny.
Wow.
So that's a good 30 years.
And then there's your outdoor myrtles here.
Yes. Right, so, did you know?
I think I'm going to find out.
So this side, this bed here, this is Myrtus communis.
Okay.
These, when I started, were Myrtus luma.
Right.
They're now Luma Chequin or Luma something, members of the myrtle family.
Right.
Will you get off now? Here. What do you think you're doing? Sit.
For the benefit of the recording, Jekka is not shouting at me.
That was Tansy getting on the new bed. Yeah. So what's so exciting about this? This is Luma Chequin, and someone said to me, it's so difficult to grow in the UK. Have a look at it there.
So it's huge there.
I know, isn't that amazing?
That is incredible.
And that's in clay.
And that's in a heavy soil.
That's
Where
in heavy
would
soil.
you some myrtles?
South America.
Yeah, and you kind of were they boggy plants? Or they're growing sort of boggy conditions?
Rocky plants.
Rocky plants. So they're actually arid plants.
Yeah.
And that's growing in heavy clay.
Yeah.
In a wet Somerset climate.
Yeah. I mean, So please, I got told I didn't know what I was talking about by a very eminent person. I said, well, you should come and look
Come and have a look
farm.
up at Jekka's farm, yeah.
I've got another hedge of it down there, which is even wetter.
So you'd be interested in that because looking at that there, the big myrtle. I mean, someone could plant that in a garden, couldn't they? As a hedge or.
Well, I'll show you my hedge in a minute. And so these are all lumas, which often people call myrtles.
Yeah. But they've actually been reclassified, have they?
Yeah.
I mean,
and this
that's
isn't
beautiful.
this gorgeous?
This
is 30 years old.
Is it?
Yeah, this is Chequin nanum.
Check on this, a very small, almost micro-leafed linum, isn't it?
And this is the one which I think is one of the most beautiful.
Oh, that's stunning.
This is the one with the cinnamon bark.
Wow.
This is Luma apiculata.
So where was that native to, Jack?
Chile.
It's from Chile, is it?
Chile and myrtle.
Yeah, look at
and
that.
it sets a fruit that you can make the best jam you've ever had.
That is a stunning plant.
It's just...
Well, I mean, I can't understand what's something... I mean, it's obviously fairly hardy.
Totally hardy.
So why aren't people growing it in
And
gardens?
I mean, look at the combo.
Yeah, I don't understand why that... I mean, I'm a big lover of shrubs anyway, but you sometimes think there's such a lack of variety out there, isn't there?
Yeah.
You usually get, you get your ceanothus and your usual stuff.
Just smell this. This one is Amamyrtus, this one. It smells like China tea, and it'll be in flower. It's from the first to flower. It is the most
Really?
beautiful.
So in springtime
Amamyrtus
you would get
luma.
that?
Yeah. It's another Chile in Luna.
Wow, I mean, they're just so beautiful.
I can't wait to go to Chile. It's on my bucket list.
Yeah, it's one of mine as well.
Perhaps we should go.
Yeah, we should. Yeah.
And this is Agni. Okay, this one sets a fruit that it tastes of strawberries.
Right.
Like in autumn, spicy strawberries.
Yep.
My golden retriever. I've always had golden retrievers.
Okay.
They know when it's come into fruit.
Really? They can sense it, can they?
Yeah, and they'll be there with their soft mouths taking all the fruit
they'll steal it all.
So, yeah. So I'm having to get in first. But it is a fantastic
It's a beautiful looking plant as well.
Really, really good. Really good news. But in New Zealand, they've collared this and they're going to call it New Zealand berry. And there's a farmer in Essex. He wants me to grow thousands so you can farm it.
Right, so it has no trouble with the climate or anything here. So again, it's strange how these things haven't caught on almost then, isn't it? So really, if people want to find out more about Jekka's farm, obviously the history of everything. Have you got a website or anything?
Yeah, well, Alice has rebranded me.
Yeah.
I'm no longer Jekka's Herb Farm.
Okay.
We're now called Jekka's.
Jekka's,
so it's easy. It's www.jekkas.com.
Brilliant. And obviously you've got all this massive array of books you've written that people can tap into as well.
Yeah, they're all online as well.
So I know also, I'm quite interested because I've met your lovely family. I met your husband and obviously Alistair, your son.
Yeah.
Hannah's involved.
Yes,
your
she is.
So it's a big family business, isn't it?
It is.
Tell me a bit how that works.
I mean, Alistair, his role here is really running it and taking it forward.
So he's involved. I was chatting to him earlier about a website and all the modern techniques that we need to have.
All the modern Now, Hannah is an artist. She's an illustrator. So when I got approached to write a cookbook, I said I'd love my daughter to illustrate it. They said, no, not possible. What happened in the interim was the designer had seen Hannah's work, didn't know she was my daughter, and booked her to illustrate my book.
Without even knowing that you was... That's brilliant.
Well, isn't that fantastic?
That's superb. So that must be... you must feel really proud that you've got this family unit doing
I'm hugely proud, and I'm hugely grateful, though, to Matt. I mean, can you imagine? He went from being a satellite engineer, and without him working for those first 15 years of the nursery, we would have never survived.
So he was real backup support for all that effort you put into...
And also, I don't do money. I'm royal. As I get older, all I really want to do is muck about with my plants.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't think of a more inspirational person to speak to. I really couldn't. It's been a real pleasure, Jekka. Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us. And as Chris said, thanks to Jekka for giving us so much of her time. I really recommend a trip to her herb farm, and it's certainly on my list of places to visit post-lockdown. Don't forget to subscribe to our organic gardening podcasts. Every month we have a new guest, plus helpful tips and advice on how to grow the organic way. Bye for now.